Holly is facing long odds to make the playoffs out of District 2, 2A Division II. But facing long odds isn't anything new for the Bearcats. Their coach has already beaten them twice.
Play like it's your last game. Play like you're behind.
They wouldn't tell me the numbers because it was so bad, so I looked them up, and it was a 4% survival rate. And so really it's a miracle I'm here.
Second-year Bearcat coach Brad Schoonmaker is a two-time melanoma survivor. At one point, the cancer spread from his scalp to his lung. As if that wasn't bad enough, things got worse. His eldest son, Houston, a junior fullback for Holly, after suffering a knee injury last year.
He was diagnosed, and I had had surgery on my knee August 10th, and they had thought it was sarcoma, so I could have had bone cancer, and he could have had, and he did have his cancer.
All of that while dealing with the loss of another family member due to melanoma. What could have torn apart the Schoonmaker family and the Holly community turned into something else.
It was unbelievable. We had a 5K run. The school set up Cats for the Cure. We had fundraisers, caps for coach on Fridays. They rallied around me and another teacher that was diagnosed this last year as well. Unbelievable support.
Brad didn't miss coaching a single game last year, even with frequent trips to the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston.
My team is my family. They were always there for me. They always wanted me to do what I could to get back. Perseverance and my faith, knowing that I'm taken care of and I'm blessed beyond measure, is what got me through that.
Houston says what he and his dad have gone through has strengthened their relationship.
We were just leaning on each other, and we got ourselves through it. Seeing him out there and him seeing me just gave us so much strength.
Him being on the field tonight is one of those things that he was so excited that we're just here together, that kind of gave me strength. It's one of those that whenever I see him on the field, or when I saw him on the sideline, that gives me hope and strength to continue whatever I need to do.
I hate that something bad like this would have to happen for someone to realize how fragile life is, but we are just so much closer, and we have so much in common, and we can talk to each other about anything that goes on, and we understand each other and make it.
The Schoonmakers say everyone in the 700-person community is learning lessons that can't be taught in a classroom or on the football field.
You don't realize how many people care about you until something like this happens, and it just was everywhere. It was unbelievable.
Man, it's just one of those things that we just share, and I just hate that anyone would have to go through anything like this to understand that.
Reporting from Sweetwater, Greg Sherman, Fox Football Friday. Even though these are exhibition games, there was a little streak with the Division I game. The West All-Stars had never beaten the East All-Stars. Could that streak end? Here are the highlights. Hey, there's legendary six-man coach Sam Adams on hand, and he got to watch a legendary performance by the West. Brandon Capetillo throws a halfback pass, and Paducah's Lonnie Hurd hauls it in for the score, one of two he caught in the game. Later, the Wellman Union grad keeps it on the ground and runs it in for another West touchdown. East trying to make something happen as Oakwood's James Edwards with a nice INT here. But the West stopped the East offense on every single possession. Here, Water Valley's Devin Gray strips quarterback Austin Simmons from Zephyr, and McLean's Clay Crockett falls on it. On the very next play, Water Valley's Justin Hahn with a touchdown pass to Ira Steven Juarez. West wins the game 64-8, but it's not the score that matters, but the fact that everyone enjoyed a chance to play one more six-man game.
It feels real good. It makes me happy to come out here and play with some more people that I don't even know.
I consider it a privilege, because if I'm able to play, that means I must be right in the mix with them. Every day in practice, it was harder and harder. They bring it, I bring it. One day I win, next day they win.
I just couldn't have had more fun if I'd have had anybody else. These kids they came together better than any group I've ever had in an all-star game, and it was awesome.
They love talking X's and O's, and it's just a joy as a coach to be around kids like that. You can talk about an idea, and they get it, and they want to know more about it.
Division II All-Star game, and they could have named it the Parker Purvis Exhibition. The Strong graduate threw 3 touchdown passes, this one to Harold's Ethan Cato, and ran for 3 more. Wow, that's one fast Greyhound. Loop's Matthew Sellers had 3 touchdown runs for the West, including this one from the shotgun as he scampers into the end zone. But they couldn't stop Purvis. He throws this touchdown to Stephen Thornhill from the state champion Richland Springs Coyotes. East wins this one 66-53. The Texas Six-Man Coaches Association welcomed 2 new members to its Hall of Fame, C.H. Underwood and the late Robert Lee. Underwood is a 1963 graduate of O'Brien High School and in 1972 coached his alma mater to the first six-man state championship. His teams used the first true triple option offense in six-man, known as the O'Brien Veer. Underwood coached several other sports, including basketball, where he won an astonishing 356 games in his career. He's also a noted author, writing 2 books about six-man football, one of which is known as the definitive strategy and playbook for the game.
It's always good to be remembered by your peers in a positive way, as well as those that played for you. When you really think about it, the ones that played for you are responsible for everything that happened anyway, so it's been a blessing to be a part of their accomplishments, really.
Robert Lee coached for 23 seasons for 5 different schools. His 189 wins ranked 9th all-time in six-man. He also is known for pioneering the six-man version of the spread offense.
He would tell you that it was real tough, and he didn't think the coaching part was that glorious and glamorous, but I told my dad, I said, good gosh, I said, you lied to me about it not being fun and stuff. You're out there acting just like a kid. And this was when he was in his upper 60s then.
They're legends in this sport, and deservedly so. They are what six-man is, and that set the stage for everybody else.
Congratulations to both gentlemen. Now, if you'd like to check out some six-man action for yourself, there'll be 2 tournaments going on the first weekend of the season on August 27th, one in Hico outside of Stephenville, the other in McCamey. Reporting from Wolfforth, Greg Sherman, High School Spotlight.
At quarterback, a 6'4" junior from Big Spring, number 17, Ryan Tannehill.
It's been exciting for all of us, especially the ones that have known Ryan as he's growing up here.
Having the success he is having right now at A&M is really big for our town and our school.
Known what a fine young man he is.
Tannehill tore up the Big Spring High record books when he played for the Steers earlier this decade. In his first start at quarterback for A&M, he threw for 449 yards, an Aggie record, and 4 touchdowns in a rout of Texas Tech, which was no surprise to one of his former teachers.
Every time he does something well, I say, now who was his Sunday school teacher? So it's just a little joke in our family.
Newton helps run the Howard County Aggie Club, which gives scholarships to those wishing to attend A&M.
I was talking to a scholarship recipient today, and she said she didn't even like football, but it is a blast whenever you're down there and you know that you went to high school with him.
Tannehill's accomplishments aren't limited to Kyle Field. The redshirt junior carries a 3.6 GPA in biology, and current Steers head coach Philip Ritchie is trying to use that and all of Ryan's accomplishments to motivate his team.
Our kids can relate to him, say, hey, he's from Big Spring, and we can also use that in motivating them to try to work hard and realize that to dream big, and if you work hard enough that you can accomplish great things like Ryan has.
Although he didn't coach him, Ritchie says he closely monitors Ryan's progress.
Previous weeks we were all just griping and complaining because he wasn't the starting quarterback, but since he has been, everybody's excited and really pulling for him.
One of the teachers that I teach with out at Elbow, Tech graduate, and she said if we have to lose, at least we lost to Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan's not the only Tannehill to come through the program recently. His younger brother Tyler was quarterback of the team for 2 seasons, and there's rumors of an even younger Tannehill tearing up the 8th grade fields, so the Tannehill legacy at Big Spring will continue. Reporting from Big Spring, Greg Sherman, CBS 7 News. Earlier this season, Big Spring was state-ranked in basketball for the first time in more than 30 years. One of the key players is overcoming his disability and instead using his ability to help the team.
You look at him, you wouldn't pick him first on the playground for a game, but he's very basketball smart, has a high IQ.
Senior Luke Adams, number 31 on your screen, led the Steers to their first district title since 1992 last season, and to their first state ranking since the 1970s this season.
In the past years at Big Spring, they've not, been used to winning, and I think, we're really accepting that attitude. I think, once you have that mindset to win, I think it's really hard to stop.
He set a school record with 11 assists in one game this year, and he is playing with an extra piece of equipment known as a cochlear implant.
I was born deaf. The problem for me is just to really just stay in contact with the coach, always look at him, and I have to use my eyes more than your ears.
Steers first-year head coach Cliff Thompson.
He works on his game so hard. He'll work out 2 or 3 times a day outside of our practice. He just has a love for the game.
Luke says his disability becomes an advantage on the road in a hostile environment.
Kind of a blessing in disguise, really. It's helped me basically block out, just concentrate, focus better. I definitely say it's to my advantage.
An advantage that could lead to him playing Division I ball next year. If the last name Adams sounds familiar, well, it should. His dad, Mark, coached Howard College to the National JUCO Championship last year. Reporting from Big Spring, Greg Sherman, CBS 7 Sports. It's a gigantic battle in 6-man here in Garden City as the number 2 Bearcats entertain number 1 Borden County. These two teams don't know much about losing as they have won their last 54 games in a row combined. Garden City's won 20 in a row and a state championship. They haven't lost since the season opener last year. Meanwhile, the Coyotes have won 34 games in a row, a pair of state championships, and they haven't lost a game since 2007. It's also a matchup between the number 1 offense in 6-man with Garden City and the number 1 defense in 6-man with Borden County. Something's got to give, and someone's going to lose their first game in a long time. Should be a classic battle tonight here at the Garden. Big Spring hoping to pull off a classic upset against the number 1 team in 3A. Let's go down to Brownwood and check in with Paul Lawrence.